Right now, we have a healthy range of sports or performance cars on sale. On the lower end, with respect to price, you have cars like the Toyota GT86 and the Subaru BRZ. Middle of the pack stuff might be Mustangs and Camaros, or even the Challenger. And then you jump up to the German stuff like the BMW M3, and that's before you climb to the exotics and so on. That's not even counting hot hatches, rally-inspired machines, or even performance EVs. Out of all the cars on sale today, though, there's one that is the purest of pure when it comes to driving experiences.
Ariel?
What? Not Ariel. I'm talking about Lotus. It's classically mid-engined in its looks with a face that screams modern Lotus design. The mesh grille and front lip help reduce undercar airflow, while the fender vents remove high-pressure air from the wheel arches. Out back, you have a rear diffuser that further aids in pulling air out of spaces where it's not wanted and helping the car get closer to the ground. At each corner, you have forged aluminum wheels, 19-inch front, 20-inch rear, and they're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. The rear tires, they're 295 mils wide. Now on the inside, it's clear this is an analog machine. The bucket seats are tight and take some fiddling to find the right position. And even then, ride comfort isn't something I'd praise, but this isn't about that. Hence the aftermarket infotainment system bolted in place. It works though, and even includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you connect via USB. But enough about that. You want to know what it's like to drive. So, sitting back there is a Toyota-sourced 3.5-liter V6 engine with an Edelbrock supercharger, and it makes 416 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. And this thing, above 4,500, there it is. Oh my goodness, great, great, great noises. And controlling those noises and the rev range is a 6-speed manual gearbox that is very precise. This is probably the most precise modern manual I've driven in quite some time. It's so precise that going back to first gear is sometimes a bit of an effort. But every other gear is fantastic. The throttle response is great, and you can improve that throttle response by putting into sport mode or holding the button for race mode. And when you do that, it relaxes traction control a little bit. There's also a button for the exhaust. Now, you can get this with a 6-speed automatic, but don't. You can if you want to, but you're missing out on the analog connection and part of what makes this car so wonderful. And also part of that is the steering, the hydraulic power steering. You feel the road. I haven't felt this in so long, I feel like. You can feel what the car is doing, what the road is doing. The two are talking, and they are communicating through this steering system right here. The brakes feel excellent. The suspension is stiff, but not punishingly so. It's rare that automakers get that right. It's either too much or not enough. There's a handful of cars that find the balance, and this is one of them. And it's funny too, with the engine sitting back there and the supercharger being back there, there's a little wastegate actuator, and if you go on the throttle, you can see it open and close. It's kind of mesmerizing. Now, is the infotainment system a little wonky for the car? Sort of, but it works well. It's actually nicely integrated into the dash. If it didn't say Alpine on it, people probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But the fit and finish in the cabin looks much better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be pretty shoddy, built in a shed type of car, but it looks good. The cross stitching, the yellow stitch against the black suede, it all works well. This is a car that allows you to feel like you are part of the action, and that is again something that is becoming increasingly more rare as time marches on and cars evolve. So this is the modern Lotus before the world gets the Evija, which the US isn't going to get because it is not street legal. That's their upcoming electric hypercar that's like $1 million. It makes 2,000 horsepower. This is a modern Lotus that is still analog, and I gotta tell you, it's a joy. This car is composed. This car is shining when it is being pushed. It is not a car you want to sit in traffic with, because the downside of the driving experience is how unnecessarily heavy the clutch is. The clutch is just extremely heavy. And then where the carpet meets the base of the clutch, it's like a weird place to put your foot. So you figure it out after driving it, and I'm sure if you owned one of these, you'd get used to it. And plus, I'm a little tall for the car, though I do fit. I'm 6'3", but I do have room where a helmet would clear. You could kick the seat back a little bit if you wanted to, and this is even a 2+2 layout, which is kind of hilarious, but I do fit at 6'3". Taller folks out there, you can get into a Lotus. And the pedals are set up nice for heel towing and all that good stuff. The Evora GT is stirring, to say the least. It also stirs the soul of your accountant because the base price is $97,000. And this one, as tested, is more than $130,000. And that's where I start to have problems with the car. It does not feel like a $130,000 experience, especially when you have Porsche offering the wicked Cayman GT4 with a base price of $101,000, or even a 911 Carrera S starting at $117,000. And that doesn't even get into the C8 Corvette, which is basically a bargain down well under $80,000 and still well equipped. Lotus fans will shout that it's about more than just a paper comparison. They'll talk about the history and the heritage, and there is something to be said for a car with actual hydraulic power steering. I get the history, I get the heritage, I just wish I got a little bit more for $130,000. Still, when people say, I wish they still built proper sports cars, this is what they mean, and this is absolutely that, and I'm very happy that it exists.